Hey, what is up, everybody? I am here to give you my review of TNA Impact Wrestling for um, July 8th, 2015. And this was kind of a weird episode, and I'm going to get to it when I get there. So we had the Pope D'Angelo Gennaro and Josh Matthews on commentary for this show, and the show kicks right off. We get a Ethan Carter the third, or EC3 for short, and Tyrus promo, so EC3 and Tyrus promo. And EC3 comes out and talks about how he's been undefeated in TNA for, 620 days, and he is the new undisputed TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Um, and he says that tonight his auntie, being Dixie Carter, is giving him who is returning tonight, by the way, is giving him is giving him a championship gift by letting him run the show tonight. He's going to be in charge of the show. He's going to be in charge of tonight's show, and he says that tonight, for the first time ever, he's going to defend the TNA World Heavyweight Championship 3 times tonight, which I thought was a dumb idea at first, because why would you do that to yourself? But then they do more with that later. Um, and then Matt Hardy comes out, and he says that he didn't take that match with EC3 because they were friends. Him and EC3 are not friends. He hates EC3. And he says that he actually softened Kurt Angle up last week, so that way EC3 was able to win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And he actually took that match too to prove something to the TNA audience, that he deserves and he belongs in the TNA World Heavyweight Championship picture. And he wants to be one of the opponents to face EC3 for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. EC3 denies, and Matt Hardy says that he's still going to beat him up anyways, but EC3 says that he already booked Matt Hardy in a match. It's actually going to be a tag team match, but since your brother Jeff Hardy's home injured right now, has a broken leg, he is going to make it a handicap match, and we get the first match on the show. It's Matt Hardy versus the Dirty Heels, which consists of Bobby Roode and Austin Aries, and we had EC3 on commentary for this match, but this match was really weird for the commentary-wise because EC3's headset cut out, and they thought Josh Matthews and EC3 thought the Pope was behind it. So he just got off commentary, and Josh Matthews and EC3 just called him out. And Josh Matthews, I haven't mentioned, is like a huge EC3 fan. So yeah, that was weird. So it was the entire match was Josh Matthews pretty much praising EC3. But this match here I thought was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. Matt Hardy gets both Dirty Heel members into a 6 submission move, which was really cool. And yeah, this match was really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome. Matt Hardy hit the side effect. Bobby Roode hit a spine buster. I thought this was a pretty good match. Eventually, Austin Aries pins Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy goes to suplex Austin Aries, and then Bobby Roode pulls him down, and Austin Aries falls on him for the cover. And Bobby Roode holds his feet down while the referee counts 3, and the Dirty Heels go over. I thought this was fine. I actually enjoyed this match, and yeah, it was pretty good. So then the Ryzen, which consists of Micah, Eli Drake, and Drew Galloway, and Eli Drake is on crutches because he has a leg injury or a knee injury due to the match he had last week with the BDC, which is short for the Beatdown Clan, and they consist of MVP, Low-Key, Kenny Kinnon, and Hernandez. And the Ryzen said that they never thought they would be in this win disappointed like this, because when they reformed, they wanted to take out people running the system and get in ahead in wrestling like people like the BDC. And he says that Eli Drake says that he thanks Drew Galloway. He's not going to look at this as a complete negative, because Drew Galloway, if it wasn't for Drew Galloway, he would have never been able to kick the door open and step into TNA Impact Wrestling. And Drew Galloway says that he just kind of cuts this amazing promo about how he even though this is the end of the Rising, this is not over yet. We're still going to continue to stand up for something we love, pro wrestling. and he talks about how this company has a lot of wrestlers that can go out there and have wrestling matches, how the card looks really good, and he says that um, TNA is going to going to a high point because of it. I thought that was really good promo here, and then Eli Drake, and Micah leave, and EC3, who was still doing commentary, gets on the mic and says that he had booked Drew Galloway, and well, he had booked the Ryzen to be in a 6-man tag team match, but since they disband, they can't wrestle anymore, it's just going to be a handicap match. So it's going to be Drew Galloway versus the Revolution members of Abyss, Koya, and Manic, and this was Ank. I didn't really care much for it. Koya and Abyss aren't really seeing eye to eye, so Abyss hits like a spine buster onto Drew Galloway, and he goes to cover him, but Abyss pulls him off for some reason. And Drew Galloway starts taking out everybody. Manic tries to go off the ropes, but Drew Galloway moves out of the way and hits a running knee on Manic for the win. So Drew Galloway looked strong here, I guess, but I really didn't care much for the match itself because it was one of those I'm normally not a fan of handicap matches, and this was one of the times when I wasn't a fan of them because this match really wasn't that great, and the booking made no sense kind of because why would Abyss try to pull Coyle off from winning the match? I didn't get it, and this is new too. I don't like when did Abyss and Coyle start to hate each other? I thought that was weird too. And then EC3 and Tyrus are backstage, and Mr. Anderson comes up and congratulates EC3 on winning the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and says even though he hates his Gus, he congratulates him because you did it. I want to congratulate you because you did it all on your own. And he wants to be one of the opponents to face EC3 for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, but EC3 denies him. He says that he already put him in a match tonight against Blam, and it's next. So yeah, that was that. Thought it was fine. We get Mr. Anderson versus Blam. So this match was okay. Mr. Anderson hit his Kenton bomb that he used to do, which is like a Swanton bomb, but he calls it a Kenton bomb, and I really like that. And then he clotheslines Blam outside the ring, hits a Mr. Dropkick on him, and then he tries to he tried to go outside the ring and get him, but Blam throws a chair on his face, which means Mr. Anderson wins by disqualification. And then Blam starts beating the crap out of Mr. Anderson. He throws him into the steel steps. He throws him back first into the apron, and then they tell him to bring down that microphone that Mr. Anderson does when he only does, his entrance from Green Bay, Wisconsin. So they do, and he starts beating the crap out of Mr. Anderson. He keeps hitting him right off the face with the microphone, and he actually takes it off and hits him with it, and Mr. Anderson ended up getting his eye cut open. So I'm assuming they're going to feud. I really don't want to see that, just because it seems awkward. I don't really like Blam. I like Mr. Anderson, but that feud I don't think really clicks with me, if you ask me. So then we got Jesse Goddard versus Robbie E in a street fight. This actually was pretty good. This match ended up being pretty good. I didn't really know how I was going to feel about this match, but this match ended up being pretty good. Jesse beats the crap out of Robbie E. He grabbed the trash can lid out and he hits Jesse with it, and the way Jesse sold it looked awesome. And then he suplexes him in the ring. Robbie E started pulling out a bunch of weapons. He pulled out a trash can and a kendo stick, and eventually he tries to dive onto he puts the trash can lid on Jesse's balls, and he grabs a kendo stick and hits him with it, throws Jesse Goddard outside the ring. He tries to dive on Jesse Goddard, but he moves out of the way. Jesse Goddard dominates the match for a while. He brings out, he hits Robbie E with a trash can, and then he wedges it into the corner. And Robbie E starts to make his comeback, throws Jesse into the trash can. Then he starts hitting him with a kendo stick, and then eventually Jesse Goddard gets the upper hand. Robbie E hits a reverse DDT on Jesse, but he kicks out. Jesse eventually brings in 2 chairs, and Robbie E tries to stack them up sideways and jump on Robbie E onto him, but he moves out of the way and he goes into the chairs. And then Jesse Goddard gets him in the Boston crowd while he's on the chair, while Robbie E is under the chair, which looked really cool. And Robbie E ends up passing out, and Jesse Goddard wins the match. I was really fine with this because I do like Jesse Gatto more than Robbie E. I think he has more talent and more potential, and he really has like the look of a wrestler that people would want. So I'm fine with this. I think this feud will continue though. I'm not a huge fan of this feud, but it makes sense for them to have a feud because they were tag team partners. But you know. So then EC3 and Tyrus are backstage again, and Lashley comes up and he wants to face EC3 for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. But EC3 says, "Well, you want to be in the mood to fight? I deny it." And he puts him in a match with Tyrus, pretty much. So that was that. I thought that was fine. And then we got Kurt Angle backstage, and he says that he has like a loophole that's gonna interfere with EC3's three championship matches. So we're gonna find out what happens with that. And then we got Jeff Jarrett's interview part 2, and he talks about his legacy and he talks about how he's been his wrestling company, Global Force Wrestling, or GFW, has been having a relationship with other wrestling companies, and he says they're going to do the same thing with TNA, and that's pretty much all he says. Just more complicated, and I thought this was fine. And he talks about too how the TNA Ken of the Mountain Championship's also going to be defended there. It's going to be defended everywhere. He wants to make it like a championship everybody fights for, makes these dream matches, and I thought that was cool. And it shows him it showed the clippets of him returning to TNA and stuff like that. I thought this was a good interview. And then we got Velvet Sky, but no wait, sorry, I skipped down. Then we got EC3's 3 World Championship. These are like gauntlet matches, so EC3 has to face them all at once, pretty much. It's like one would come out, then the other. And EC3 gets in the win, and he says that he's gonna face, since he's in the move of giving back, paying it forward. So he's going to face the guy that he beat in his first ever TNA match, Nerve Fernum, but he called him Firmum, which I thought was weird. And he pretty much just beats him in one move. He hits the 1%er on him, gets the pinfall, retains the championship. That was fine. I think they're trying to make him look like he's a champion that looks like he's all strong, but he just beats jobbers, and I thought this was fine. So then he faces his second opponent, and since it's Shark Week, he makes a corny joke talking about how it's Shark Week, so I'm going to face somebody in the ocean. And it ends up being Shark Boy. And Tyler says you're going to need a bigger boat because he was with him. And EC3 asks if you have a chance of beating me for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And Shark Boy says, "Show yeah." Because he's like a ripoff of Stone Cold Steve Austin. If you know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is and knows his character, that's pretty much what Shark Boy is in TNA. And Shark Boy starts beating the crap out of him, hits a few punches. EC3 hits a clothesline in the 1%er for the win and retains the championship again. And then he goes to put out his last opponent. But then Kurt Angle comes out, and he says that he's going to he says that he has paper, like a contract that allows him to have his rematch clause for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship whenever he wants. So he chooses to have it tonight, and yeah, that was that. So I thought this all was pretty good stuff. I thought it was cool to see Nerve Fernum again, because I remember the last time I saw him was EC3's first match, and I thought this made EC3 look like kind of like a heel champion that makes himself look good, but he just ends up beating like crappy people. And I thought this was all pretty good. I knew this was gonna happen. I had a feeling this was gonna happen anyways. And then Lashley comes out to have his match with Tyrus, and EC3 did commentary for that match. I thought it was a solid match. Lashley hits an electric chair onto Tyrus, which was impressive, and then he hits a spear on Tyrus for the win, so I thought this match was fine. And then Jeff Jarrett gets interviewed again and talks about, pretty much the same thing, and he talks about all of the great moments in TNA, which made me kind of depressed because look at what TNA is now compared to when Jeff Jarrett was running it. He talked about all the TNA originals, and he talks about how as long as both GFW and TNA wrestling have both long-term goals and continue to set goals, that this relationship could work. And yeah, maybe it could work. If GFW gets a television deal, maybe TNA won't go under. So I hope that happens. I really don't want to see TNA go under. Not that I'm a TNA fan or anything. One of the main reasons is because when wrestlers try to come up from like Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, and stuff like that, they will only have WWE to go to. Um, and TNA is like that next big wrestling company that has these TV deals. Um, and it's the next, pretty much is the next big wrestling company out there. So I really want to see, them to go somewhere else. And it will suck for the wrestlers too if they lose their jobs. Um, even though they can go like to Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, NXT, WWE, it just will suck. Um, then we get Velvet Sky versus Madison Rain. This match was just kind of there. I didn't think it was anything special. Madison Rain cuts the same promo she cut on Velvet Sky weeks ago, talking about how she belongs in TNA and Velvet Sky doesn't because you look like one of the fans now. And they have the match. Velvet Sky hits the stunner for the win. I still do like Velvet Sky's change up in character, so that's cool. Um, and then we get the main event match on the show. We get EC3 with Tyrus defending the TNA World Heavyweight Championship against Kurt Angle. EC3 pretty much doesn't want to do the match because he wasn't really expecting to have to do this match tonight because, you know, he was expecting just to have an easy night beating all those opponents. So he keeps trying to get out of the ring. Kurt Angle eventually just gets him in the ring, hits a bunch of German suplexes on him. Tyrus gets on the apron, and he punches Tyrus off. And Kurt Angle gets EC3 in the ankle lock. And as EC3 is in the ankle lock, he punches the referee, knocks him down, and he ends up tapping out. And another referee comes in, wins the bell, but the referee just didn't really see the tap out. He just saw that EC3 hit the ref, so Kurt Angle wins by disqualification, but EC3 still gets to keep the championship, and that was really it. And then afterwards, EC3's just in the win, and Kurt Angle's gone. Like, why didn't you just stay in the win and beat the crap out of him? I don't know. But EC3 and Tyrus are in the win and talks about how like he retained his championship, like he's all that. And he brings out Dixie Carter for her return. And anytime she tries to say anything, EC3 puts himself over, talks about how he's the new TNA World Champion, how he kept the Carter name alive, how he beat all these Hall of Famers and all these TNA guys. And then Dixie Carter says that when she left TNA, she watched the past, what she was like, and she said that she wasn't herself, she wasn't a person she recognized. She kept lying to the fans, and that's what you're starting to become like. And she says that you earn the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, but you have to start defending the belt under skill, not your name. And she says that somebody's going to have to start to run this company and make this the best wrestling company on TV and the best wrestling company out there. And she says that it's not me and it's not you either. And then the show goes off the air. So obviously we're going to get like a new general manager or something. I have no idea who that is. I have no idea really who it could be. I'm thinking maybe Jeff Jarrett, since he is back in TNA. I'm thinking maybe it could be him. That's the only person I can really think of, but we're going to have to wait and see with that. But that was the end of the show this week. This was the EC3 show, because he was all over the show tonight. Which I was fine with. I do like him. I did feel like he was being a little overused tonight, but it was what it was. As for the show, I thought it was an okay show. I liked the handicap match with Matt Hardy and the Dirty Heels. EC3 stuff was good all night. Dixie Carter's return was good. The Jeff Jarrett interviews. Lashley, Tyrus was decent. Robbie E and Jesse Goddard had a pretty good street fight, and the Ryzen's promo was good. Now that I think about it, this was kind of an average show, if you think about it, because I can't really think of like there's good things on the show. This just kind of felt like an average show if you look at it, though. Not a lot of wrestling, and there was too many promo segments. I think it had a lot of EC3 on this show, so I'm gonna say that this was kind of an average show. But that's pretty much it, guys. If you want to check out some other content on YouTube, you could go click right up here and check out my non-wrestling channel, Owen the Talkinator, where I talk about non-wrestling stuff. You could click down below to check out my CM Brothers channel, where I talk about both. You could click right here to check out my friend James, the He-Man He-Bird's YouTube channels. He has two. One right there is called James He-Bird. He makes custom Titantrons and wrestlers, and then you can click right there to check out his other wrestling channel called Weymouth Youth Wrestling, and I've appeared on a couple of videos on that channel, and yeah, I totally suggest you check it out because it's a pretty good channel, and I'm going to be appearing on that channel in the fall. We're going to be doing some stuff with that, so that's pretty much it, guys. You can also click down below to subscribe to me, so you can see other content on the channel, and I'll be back at some point in time to give you guys another video.